tube. And then we should, theoretically, be live. Hello. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the LAN Show. A show that we have hastily put together this week.
We're super late.
We are incredibly late. My name is Mark. I'm a computer engineer, an artist, a 3D printing addict, and all-around tinkerer.
I'm Yanni. I am pretty much the same thing. I do like doing small engine repair on the side. And we both just mess around with 3D printing, constantly trying to fix things and trying to learn something new every day.
And tomorrow he's going to be professional spool fixer.
Yeah, that one was brutal. We tried doing a skit, and that's going to be out eventually. But yeah, that spool's going to need some TLC tomorrow over like all day.
And so, yeah, that is going to be fun.
I'm going to do at here, and we're just going to see what happens.
At here?
At here is something that one of our coworkers did, and we're going to see how that works.
Sounds good. Oh, and a Discord channel.
We're just spreading the word.
I am trying to pull up chat. Oh,
it's working.
Did it work?
It's working.
Is that actually what that was? Oh, it totally worked. So today's topics that we have for you today is about the ROG Ally 2, Nintendo Switch 2 teardown before the release, click to cancel, subscriptions, foldable iPhones, my wood is stronger than your steel, so on and so forth. What was I doing? Oh, I still need to get... I have not... We started the show too fast. I usually get the chats up while we're talking.
Yep, that's what I'm working on in the middle of sending things out too.
How?
Honk.
Honk.
We got a Joe.
Honk.
We got a Celt here.
Oh my god. Would it be, would it do? I don't know why I'm...
Pop out chat.
Do this. I'm, like, doing this the dumbest way possible. Would it be, would it do? I don't know.
Oh no!
Just do that. And then do that. And then turn that off. Stop that.
I'm still a little fish-eyed, but it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad anymore. Pop out chat.
Graphics drivers.
What just happened to your computer? That's not a good time to do that.
I thought they would be done and over with, but apparently they want to take their sweet time.
Mental gin. Steel is heavier than feathers. Actually, Joe, if you have 1,000 pounds of steel and 1,000 pounds of feathers, you know, which one's heavier?
The water.
So, I guess we'll get right into it now that we're finally situated. Last week, video cards revealed leaked images of the ROG Ally 2 from the device's official FCC certification photos. The leaks indicate that the device essentially looks exactly the same, with the addition of an Xbox button. No, Xbox-style hand grip. Sorry, I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I really should show pictures because this is going to look stupid if it doesn't. Or this is going to sound stupid if I don't. So, give me a second to do something slightly smart. Nope, that is my email, Mark. Good job.
/meme.
Stop that. Okay, let's go. And then I need you to do, is it this one? Or is it this one? This one. Oh, this one. Oh. What is... Oh, I see what's going on. Hey, there we go. Yep. This is a very professional show, friends. So the ROG Ally 2, this is essentially what the leaked designs are. This is off Video Card's website. You see how dummy thick it is. And you can see those Xbox style controller handles right there. If
Right.
you haven't seen them before. I don't know how I feel about how it looks, but I know on the old Ally, the original Ally, the ergonomics were not quite there, so this is definitely going to be a huge, huge improvement to that. Let me tap back.
Yeah, that's legit. I'd say it'd be way better to hold for sure. Way more comfortable.
It looks like there will be two models. One is black and looks similar to the Ally X, with the aforementioned hand grips included, and one is white and looks physically the same as the black one, with the addition of an Xbox button. This follows reports of Microsoft wanting to make their own handheld gaming console. So could this be it? At the very least, will we see an Xbox OS that is totally not just Windows with the skin over top?
Right.
I swear to God, if they come out with Xbox OS and it's literally just Windows,
Right.
but it looks fancy.
Maybe.
Yeah, that'll be stupid. Actually, it's a very good question. Why does nobody wipe off the damn screens in these stupid fucking FCC filings? Looking like fucking hand grease all over that shit.
So they gotta show it's real. It can't be too perfect.
Yeah, I guess so. Fuck just. You better install Mac OS on it. The partially leaked specs outline two tiers of models as well. One, which is the base model, will be a AMD 4-core 20-watt CPU and 16 gigabytes of RAM. The higher end model is a Ryzen Z2 Extreme CPU with 32 gigabytes of RAM. Both will have a 7-inch 120Hz screen and are expected to be announced during Computex next week. Is Computex next week? I forgot to look that up.
That's going to be nice. That's something to look forward to.
2025. There's a lot of things happening. Yes, it is Monday the 19th through Friday the 23rd. So, that'll be sick. What are your thoughts?
On the Ally leaks?
Yeah, much stronger Ally. Like, wildly stronger Ally. Because for those who don't know, the Z2 Extreme chip basically equates to, I think it was a 2060 in performance. Like something actually pretty
impressive
decent.
Given the size of the screen, because you're not powering it through like 4K or anything like that.
Right.
32 gigs of RAM. Honestly, that's pretty rock solid. We have what about Xbox Showcase coming up and the potential of a handheld Xbox Showcase at said event? And I guess the other question is, so we keep talking about more horsepower in these systems. What about cloud-based consoles?
Why would you bring this up in my face?
So,
actual garbage.
If you think about it, we have cloud-based consoles. They could be cheaper because all they have to do is just have network.
Well, they're already cheaper. The what is it? Logitech Cloud exists. It's $300, and you can only stream with it. I hate it, and the fact that you brought it up makes me want to punch you. I just want to let you know. That's the wrong hand. Hold on. Where's the sensu bean?
No, that's sensu bean.
Sony
tried that and it's garbage. What about Logitech?
Sony didn't do a streaming console. They did the PlayStation Portal. Is that what that is?
I think, but
that's streams, local streaming. That's not,
because that streams to your personal PlayStation.
Yeah, that's not like wide, like relying on GeForce Experience and streaming. That is, you have to be on the same network, or it is like essentially it's coming from your own machine. It's not exactly the same thing that we're talking about. Yes and no. Originally, the PlayStation Portal required a PS5
New
to
update
function.
introduced cloud streaming, allowing you to play
Oh,
PS5
it
games
does
via the
have cloud
portal,
streaming,
even
okay.
without a physical PS5.
Okay, well, that's new. Clearly,
Yeah.
I haven't given a shit about this.
Apparently, that got pretty good feedback. I think after some time, the PlayStation Portal was a decent hit. And it might have been after the cloud streaming.
I'm just saying, my Steam Deck can stream from my PC, and it works very well.
But can you emulate the PS5?
Well, when you put it that way. Speaking of consoles, YouTuber Geekerwan posted a video of him purchasing and reviewing the Switch 2's mainboard.
That's right.
Found it on China's version of eBay and purchased it for about 150 American dollars, which is about 1,000 yen. He couldn't get it to boot, but he was able to figure out the specs through reverse engineering. Essentially, he grinded down the main chip and just essentially counted out the components. He found out the Switch 2 has the T239 Nvidia CPU with 8 CPU cores, 6 GPU cores, and the design is based off of the RTX 30 series cores. And I have a link that I have to pull up this way because that is what we do now. We are professional, I swear to God.
The design is very human. Don't stare at me like that.
Huh?
I'm staring intensely into the camera.
Jesus. So this is essentially the potential performance. It'll be faster than an Apple A18 Pro, which is faster than an M1.
Right.
But slower GPU wise than a 1050 Ti potentially.
Okay.
It does state that this is simulated performance.
Right.
It's faster than a Steam Deck. I would hope it's faster than a 750 fucking Ti. So it's faster than your phone.
Over the original Switch is enormous, isn't it?
Actually, he doesn't have that on here. Now that I'm... Is that docked or is that undocked? Yeah, that's docked. That's the dock performance. Handheld performance is down here.
Okay.
For Switch 2.
So near double.
It's not, it's not bad. And then I'm going to try and skim through the video so you can kind of see the chip layout. I'm going to try and get this. So this is the comparison between...
You can definitely spot...
Oh, hold on.
Kept a GA107 taped out in 2020 and the release in 2021. A typical 1 year gap. So the 4-year gap for the T239 is certainly quite long. And it kind of backs up the whisper that Switch 2 was supposed to launch earlier, but got pushed.
So that is crazy that essentially, from what I know, I could be wrong, taped out is essentially manufactured.
Okay.
It came out a year after the 3050.
Yeah.
And like he says, it definitely supports the rumors.
See what's inside.
That's supposed to come out earlier.
They may have just been optimizing this package down. Yep.
That's exactly what you were saying. I like how you knew.
So they were optimizing this package down over the years.
Yep. So this is all CPU. This is all GPU.
And then they
memory.
Just probably started manufacturing and hoarding these units until it was ready to go.
Absolutely.
Because one thing, I think that's a recurring topic is, man, how many Switches are actually out there?
Did you see that Best Buy released a statement saying they will have plenty of extra Switches day one?
Yeah. They said that GameStop is also being heroes in this case.
Being bros.
Where they went online, they manually went through and canceled bot-placed orders. They reviewed and canceled bot-placed orders and are reallocating those units to in-store pre-orders. There seems our coworker in the morning when he stopped by work, he passes by GameStop and sees that there's constantly a line out there every morning.
Oh shit!
And
I didn't know that.
People are nailing pre-orders.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thankfully, the managers and the employees are cool enough to go out there and tell them, hey, we have X many pre-orders. So, up to this amount, or we can get a few more people in. So it seems like it's been fairly accessible.
That is pretty sweet.
So GameStop coming out on top this time around.
Yeah. So much for a fast show.
Right.
We're already.
We
at
got so much to
10:45.
talk about.
Well, do you want to just zoom through things?
Yeah, we can start shooting through things.
Federal
Blast through my topics real quick.
Federal click to cancel law. The FTC announced a click to cancel law that was supposed to go into effect today, but it has been delayed for 60 days according to 9 to 5 Mac. The click to cancel law was intended to stop companies from forcing users into dark patterns and put up roadblocks to attempt them from canceling a subscription. The most famous and probably most egregious example of this is Planet Fitness. If you want to cancel your Planet Fitness subscription, you either have to walk into one of their gyms and cancel in person, or you have to mail a letter to their corporate notifying them of your intent to cancel and your reasoning for not visiting in person. And essentially, they'll only accept it if you actually do not live within the vicinity of a Planet Fitness.
And you can only cancel in person at the original gym.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
That
either.
was the biggest issue, is when people move.
I didn't know that
to
part.
cancel. Yeah.
With this law in place, you should be able to just cancel by clicking a single button. Sadly, it's been delayed to July 14th. Unsurprisingly, telecom companies like Verizon, Comcast, so on and so forth, were not happy with the ruling because they want to keep you locked in as much as possible. So they sued the FTC to stop it. The deadline hits the once the deadline hits, the FTC says the regulated entities must be in compliance, but if the enforcement exposes any issues, the FTC is open to amending the ruling. With that being said, I forgot what I was going to ask.
I was going to say, I think it's good that the FTC is putting their foot down on it.
Absolutely.
Honestly, that they even have the authority to sit there and just do that, I think is phenomenal. It's a shame it was kicked back
60 days.
60 days.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm a little concerned about, because this was under the prior administration. And I see Saltier's thing about the Steam OS here. We're gonna talk about that. We have a good answer for that one. But yeah, I mean, this is not really a it's probably gonna keep getting kicked down the line.
Possibly.
Hoping it doesn't, but realistically, that's kind of where it goes. At the same time, the current administration's working on a lot of other things that's not anywhere close to any relation of this. It's nice they did poke into the healthcare side of things a little bit, because healthcare is more of a luxury here in the States. But and just a joke in general. But aside from that, we're not going to get into the politics of that. But the whole click to cancel thing should be a very, very common sense action.
Absolutely.
Something that should have been in place a long time ago. And honestly, it's a shame that this is even something that needs to be discussed.
Right.
It's a motion that needs to be pushed forward.
It should just be a thing already.
Right. I hope they can get it pushed through. I hope 60 days is enough for the current administration to be like, okay, let's pick this up.
Right.
Because again, under the previous one, only really in the last 2 years, it was right to repair was steamrolling. It was moving quick.
Absolutely.
FTC was getting a lot of things signed off, and this was very close to coming through. As you can see by the date that just passed, we were very close to getting this to pass.
It's already passed.
or to come through.
It just has to
anyways.
actually like go into place now.
Right. So, yeah, we can kick on that.
So
How about SteamOS going to beat out Windows for PC gaming?
what
That's
do
a
you
quick
think?
topic.
Of course, it's gonna knock it out of the fucking
To
park.
feed into that a little bit, the issue that I have with Linux, that most people generally have with Linux, and it's not so much a problem with me. I honestly just kind of deal with it and give it up. Is kernel level anti cheats.
Mm-hmm.
They're not compatible with Linux because the Linux kernel is different to start off with. I would say possibly more complicated than Windows. Not people aren't very well versed in the Linux kernel, and it may vary significantly from update to update, just because it is open source and it is constantly changing. So there's almost no reason. But this next part here is Windows trying to revoke access to the kernel. So this is going to make anti-cheat developers find new ways of making anti-cheats without affecting the kernel directly, which in turn will open the ability to have anti-cheat on Linux, even potentially running through an emulator like Wine,
Right.
or Proton.
Yeah, Proton.
Proton is what SteamOS uses through Arch Linux.
SteamOS is very user friendly. Even if you get into the weeds of it, and even if you try to use it as a desktop, you can.
And it's practically going to be mainstream.
At this rate, yeah, they've sold over 1 million decks, I believe.
The community is
So-
enormous. It's probably one of the largest Linux communities.
Yeah.
Because when you get gamers together, that's it. Like when you want something to work, you put a post out there, someone's going to find you an answer.
Absolutely.
And I've seen so far packages for all these emulators. You could just download a package that's going to route everything for you.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I can't remember the names
It's
of them.
EmuDeck.
EmuDeck, yep.
That's exactly what I have.
And it's amazing. I can't remember. You pick out like the emulator package you want, like
Yep.
Dolphin.
Yep.
That's
So
an
you pick
example.
out the emulators you want. It downloads everything. It downloads the dependencies it needs. If there's anything missing, it tells you. It gives you a chance to add the games to your Steam library.
Yeah.
So that way they just show up as games and you can't tell they're being emulated. Like but you can't tell actively while playing.
Right.
So it's the user experience of SteamOS is the draw to it, and why it seems like the year of the Linux desktop is
Right.
getting close,
It's nearing every
Because-
year.
especially with how Microsoft is treating their OS. Essentially, it's a paid spyware at this rate. I say using a Windows computer behind me, but it really is just a paid spyware because there's recall. They can track your ads. They can use telemetry to sell your data, so on and so forth.
Right.
So it is huge that SteamOS is picking up steam, and
ironically.
and it's it really is. As soon as Valve makes Steam widely available, which will probably happen soon after the Lenovo Legion handheld comes out, it'll change everything.
Right.
It really will. To answer your question about modding compatibility, I have modded pretty much every game I have, and essentially how Valve has it working. I don't know if this is a Wine/Proton thing or if this is just how Valve makes it work. But essentially, you have your Linux file system, and then in this little corner of your file system, you have your Windows file system. And that's essentially where everything gets translated to where it would be on a Windows machine, but it's sitting on your Linux machine. So when you find that file path, you then just mod the same way you would have. You just drop it in the folders. You find the Steam files, you just drop it in, for like Elder Scrolls and whatnot. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, that's how I modded. I just found the folder, I just dropped it in, added the mods folder. Starfield, Bethesda games, I know you have to use the documents folder sometimes. There is a documents folder within that section of the OS.
Right.
So it's not hard. It takes probably 2% more brain power to understand that it's a separate part of your file system that you have to go to then get it to a familiar file system. Or folder structure, more accurately. It's not hard. I haven't met a mod that hasn't been able to be installed. I know I have a friend who has a Steam Deck, and I think he has had some issues modding Stardew Valley, but I also haven't sat down to see what the issues are. So I don't know if it's maybe he has a weird specific issue, or if something's like conflicting. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know specifics on his part. But I know for the games that I play, I haven't had an issue modding them at all.
I think as the community grows too, you're gonna find a lot of it too. I mean, people want it, right? I guess that's the thing, is we always strive to like want something, and when people want something, eventually it's gonna get done one way or another. So I think the compatibility for modding games such as Elder Scrolls being one of the major ones, it's just gonna get easier as time goes on. The more people that you get that kind of cling on to this operating system and this environment, the better it's going to get overall for everybody.
Right.
And they're already emulating and porting Windows-based mods, so it's already possible. It's pretty much in the hand of the kind developers that want to take their little bit of free time and push towards the same envelope there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
well, you say that.
There's always going to be a trade-off, right? I'm looking at currently like audio devices. I use Sonar through SteelSeries, and it's completely software-based audio splitting.
Yeah.
Does not work in Linux.
Huh.
And it may never work in Linux.
Well, that's a developer problem. That's not a Linux problem.
Yeah, they could totally get it to work, but you can't emulate that. It just doesn't work.
The thing is fine-tuned isn't. It is fine-tuned is the issue. Like, there are hardly any games that won't run on a Steam Deck.
Right.
At least not because of Linux. The only games that won't run are the games that are anti-cheat based, usually. Or they have some type of, like, Batman Arkham Asylum won't run.
Kernel level.
Yeah, something kernel level.
So a lot of FPS games just won't natively run. And like I said, I was willing to give it up. Yeah. And I'm still willing to give it up. My issue I just recently ran into, that I found out, SolidWorks.
There's a project we can do.
Yeah.
To fix your sonar problem and give you a hardware solution with an Arduino. No, ESP32.
Or I can just get an Elgato.
Don't be a bitch. Do it.
I mean, I've wanted an Elgato, like a stream, like a small stream deck.
Don't be a bitch.
Not Steam Deck, stream Elgato.
Don't be a bitch. He was
no, but I wanted to do the Linux challenge, and I'm still.
We should just do it.
Kind of down for it. My only concern was SolidWorks. And I don't want to dual boot because my previous experiences.
See, Joe knows. You have mine.
Not a Stream Deck? No, hold on to that.
Stream Deck? What the hell?
Yeah. I think you have a Stream Deck, I'm pretty sure, right? I think that's what he's talking about.
Our table.
Yeah, I bumped our table. Our table. It's got toothpick legs.
Ah,
But,
Joe has a stream deck.
Joe I know has one.
Joe
and
Mom.
so does Seltier. He goes, yeah, you can take it. I'm not going to experiment with anything yet, but if we dive into it, we can definitely play around with it.
I have
So- Not the big one.
I have the sliders to make, because I was gonna make it for myself to make a.
Oh, you have the slider one.
No,
What
like
are you
I
talking
have.
about?
I don't want to get up and show you
So now you
I
have
have,
to get
like,
up and show me.
individual sliders
Okay.
for the ESP32 project. And
Okay.
You 3D print the shell for it. You
That's pretty
program
sick.
the ESP32, and then you make your own audio slider, but it's physical
Nice.
and it hooks up to your machine.
Right.
So
Nice. You just leave those on there.
I will
That's
not
fine.
respond to that.
Just
Well,
leave them on there.
What I will respond to though is a folding iPhone in 2027.
Yeah. Think it's gonna happen? No,
Uh,
that's 2 years. We might not even be
Oh.
alive by then.
honestly, according to Mark Gurman of Bloomberg, Apple is considering a folding iPhone for its 20th anniversary. I wrote that wrong. Apple's considering a folding iPhone for the iPhone's 20th anniversary. The folding iPhone is expected to cost around $2,000 and cause a major design shakeup in Apple's lineup, akin to how Apple went from the iPhone 5 form factor to the larger 6, or from the 6 style of phone to the iPhone X with no home button. The device is expected to be a book-style foldable like the Galaxy Z Fold, with an outer screen of 5.7 inches and an inner display that gets to be out about 8 inches, close to the iPad mini's display size. The other option for the iPhone's anniversary is a phone that is made of mostly glass with no display cutouts for the camera or Face ID. I think a folding iPhone would be great. One thing I forgot to note because it was in a different article that I read was apparently Mark Gurman noted that the folding phone will have a hardly to non-visible crease
Right.
as compared to the folding phones now, where after just a few folds you can see the crease plain as day. Apple is saying that they will have a hardly visible crease. I'll believe that when I see it because you can't fight physics. I mean, you can fight it, but you can't beat it. I think if anyone's going to do a folding phone right, it'll be Apple. But Samsung did it pretty right already. I just think they missed the opportunity, Samsung, to make the Fold the new Note and
Yeah.
automatically include the pen.
For
That is
sure.
my only opinion on that one. I am excited to see what a folding iPhone would be and how they would make it function. I'm
Right.
happy that it's not the clamshell though,
Yep.
because in my opinion, clamshells are for look and look only. There's no functional use to it.
Yeah, the flip styles are totally useless. The way Samsung is right now, they've pretty much got it down as much as they can until the next innovation comes out. Either whether they do a trifold or just getting the screen flatter, just beating that crease. Did you see Apple's iPhone roadmap leaked?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah.
Now I want to look it up.
Supposedly it leaked, and the idea is we're going to go to the 17s. So you're going to have the 17 Pro
Oh wow, yeah.
and the Pro Max, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
the
this
fucking
year
Air.
we're going to get the 17
Just
Air,
stupid.
right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the Air replaces?
It replaces something?
It's going to replace something.
What is it replacing?
The Plus.
Really?
If you check out that roadmap, I believe the idea is this one jumps, 17.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Plus is going to be replaced by the 17 Air. And
The 18 fold. Should I just wait till
18
the 18?
fold.
And apparently that's
Maybe.
2026, not 2027.
Right.
Should I just wait for the 18 fold
Maybe. and
and not get my iPhone this year?
I guess check out what your options are. One thing I hope for, I need these phone manufacturers to kick it up to 90 hertz. And same thing with all these laptop manufacturers. They need to bump up the specs on their screens.
On their base screen?
Man, we're getting so efficient with power usage here. The extra 30 hertz can't hurt that bad, especially OLED.
Good one.
But yeah, iPhones.
I just cannot wait to see how they will be repaired. More accurately, not repaired.
And one more thing I am excited for about an Apple Foldable, MagSafe. Dude, they worked with getting the Qi 2 standard to be native.
Yeah.
With they opened MagSafe. Anyone can use MagSafe now.
Well, I don't think they did it. They did it in the same way they made Thunderbolt an open standard.
They
did it because they had to.
They partnered up with Qi 2. And the Qi 2 is an open wireless charging standard. And it's in everybody else's hand right now.
Yeah. Whether they put it in
their courts to
which is fucking dumb that nobody else does it.
And this is the crazy thing, right?
Nobody does it except for Apple.
I have a plug on my Type-C port. I do not plug in my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I only charge it in my car.
Yep, pretty much.
My drive time, it's not very long, but between my drive time and my breaks, my phone, because of how efficient and how effective the MagSafe Qi 2 combo of charging is, I have an iAudi wireless car charging mount. It charges my phone about 15% at a time. So about 10-15% going into work, and then during lunch, and then going back from work. So I only lose about 30-40% a day, and I gain about 30 or 40% charging just sitting in my car. So it charges quick.
See, I don't have wireless CarPlay, so I have to plug mine in.
Yep.
But everywhere else, I'm wirelessly charging.
I just wirelessly charge, and the phone doesn't get hot.
Now,
it's very aligned.
Funny.
It's very accurate.
It's funny we're talking about this because along with these rumors, another thing I didn't write down was Apple leaning towards the possibility of a portless iPhone.
Yeah.
They've clearly made wireless charging so solid.
And they've got the update pads.
They've got the what? Oh, yeah, the update pads. I forgot about those.
You can tell because an update hits, and immediately, like, the next iPhones we get are already up to date out of the box.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not pumping out iPhones that recent.
No.
They're getting updated through the box, and they also receive commands to shut down. Everything's wireless.
So they're very much going towards that wireless feature.
They hit it with diagnostics, and then it shuts down. It's amazing. They can just pull defective units right off the line. They can know without even cutting the seal on the box whether this phone's good to go out or not, which
actually
is awesome. I think that's a good move. And that also kind of brings us around to what Apple's biggest key thing is, and not so much as a product company, but as a logistics company.
As a logistics company.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is insane. Definitely one of the highest end, if not the highest end, logistics company on the planet. They've got the formula down.
Absolutely. For sure. Down pat. And you know what I got down? I'm like shoehorning these in. That my long wood is harder than steel. You want to hear about my long wood?
I haven't read this. I only saw the title, and I'm just going to leave it up to you.
See, Joe understands these nuts. The company InventWood has found a way to turn normal, boring wood into wood that is stronger than steel. I'm pretty sure I wrote more about this. I don't know if it got saved. Might have been around that time I was having that weird issue with my.
What are they calling it?
Shut the fuck up. They're calling it SuperWood, and they're producing their first batches this summer. Essentially, the. Oh wow! I did not write that well. The wood will be 4 times the density of the material with a combination of food-grade chemicals. What the fuck did I write? Holy shit, I don't know if I'm tired.
You were in the zone here.
Apparently. Holy crap. Yes, Joe, wood would be heavier than feathers, depending on how much feathers are in the vial. Essentially, the wood will be 4 times more dense than steel. No. The wood, they make the wood 4 times as dense through a combination of food-grade chemicals and just squishing it. This will give the material, 50% more tensile strength than steel. It also makes it Class A fire resistant and resistant to rot and pests.
Okay.
Like I said,
that's what I was curious about.
The first batches are coming out this summer. And their goal, which I think is the part that is missing, is to essentially create a more sustainable version of steel.
Right.
But I'm confused. Maybe my small monkey brain doesn't understand. But I'm confused as to how this is more sustainable. Because you're still using a shit ton of chemicals to compress the mac and shit out of it. Whereas steel, you're just processing and cutting.
Right.
And I guess maybe food grade chemicals, so maybe that is supposed to mean there's something. Oh, hey, look at that. Are you able to ban them? Or can I ban? Why can't I ban them?
I only have shield mode, I don't have admin mode.
Oh,
show mod icons.
Well,
there we go.
Why can't I click the button?
They're banned.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Oh, fuck off, bot. Priceless Mammoth 4 WBF. Yes, that's a name. He clearly didn't like our fucking long, hard steel. Wood steel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I clicked on the sword, and it didn't let me. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, I clicked on chat settings, and I enabled show mod icons, and now I have mod icons on everyone.
No fucking shit.
There we go.
Oh my.
That makes life easy.
Yes.
It's a little more annoying, but you know what?
No, that works way better.
It worked good.
It worked good.
Yeah, it worked good.
All right, now that I'm brain dead, go to your tough.
Yeah, we're gonna move over to my topics. We're gonna blast through these.
All right, Joe, you're getting banned.
All right, you're getting banned. Yeah.
Oh wait, no.
Too late.
Monkey brain.
We got Mario Party 4 gets the PC treatment.
So, before we start this one, is it the same way that Zelda 64 got the same treatment, essentially?
Zelda 64. I have no idea.
Or whatever the Nintendo 64 version of Zelda. Zelda...
oh no.
PC port. Yep. And Majora's Mask recompilation.
Yeah, recompilation.
So, same treatment, just probably by somebody else, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so this actually explains it a little. And funny enough, it's by the same studio.
Thank you, Joe.
That does a lot of the cool games, I think, including Super Mario Strikers. So we'll look at this. Modders have nearly completed a full decompilation of Mario Party 4, marking it as the first GameCube title to reach this milestone. This breakthrough paves the way for native PC ports, offering enhancements beyond traditional emulation, such as online multiplayer and mod support. The success is partly due to the game's original unoptimized compilation by Hudson Soft, making reverse engineering more accessible. Following this, efforts are underway to decompile other classics like Metroid Prime and Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Oh, shit.
So this allows them to recompile the game to essentially be a direct native port to PC. Games by Hudson Soft, I occasionally remember it was the white background that said Hudson Soft on it, and it had
the dog,
the little bee that went around
the
it.
bee,
Like a bee do a little loop.
Yes.
And I believe Super Mario Strikers was another one of those. They had a lot of phenomenal games. Mario Party 4 being one of my favorites. Yeah. Native PC port. And I think the other thing was emulation coming to Xbox. Not officially. Not official.
Oh, like
this is like you could bring this. Well, this is the whole idea that Xbox is more like a Windows PC now, and you'll be able to. I think Dolphin may become available on Xbox.
But my Windows or my Xbox OS.
Tough. Windows.
My
is better.
ZOS.
Windows is better.
My ZOS.
You're already on Xbox, so you got a Microsoft account.
My
so
ZOS.
Windows is better.
Yeah, if you have a Microsoft account, your life's already over. One thing that I was reminded of while you were talking about this.
Yeah.
There's a guy that has been...
Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Were those Hudson Soft?
No, those were both the Nintendo 64 Zelda games.
Those are N64. Wow.
There's a guy on YouTube who has been actively, I guess, recompiling or decompiling or something Mario 64.
Yeah.
And understanding how it works, all the bugs and weird stuff. And like every once in a while his videos pop up, and almost every time I watch them.
Right.
Because it is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like he found that there's a bug in not just Mario, but probably every game.
Right.
That if you wait long enough, animations will stop working.
Okay.
So his example was, have you ever played Mario 64? Do you know?
A little bit. I played a tiny bit of it. I watch a lot of speedruns on it.
Do you know, like when you jump into the portals on the ground and there's like the wave, like the metal wave? Apparently that animation is tied to the real world clock.
Oh.
And if you hit 6 days and 7 hours and however many seconds, the animation just stops. Like if you stay in game for that long. Anyways, weird aside.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
He's been making a Mario 64 remake by not remake, sorry. Like a fan sequel.
Okay.
By rebuilding Mario 64 by optimizing the fuck out of it.
Got it.
I wonder if I can find this video. Oh, come on. Mario 64 optimized. Is it this guy? Yeah. But yeah, he made Mario 64 run
optimized
60 FPS.
The entire source code.
He
The
made
game you see in the background runs easy 30 FPS on a real Nintendo 64 hardware. This is possible because my new code renders the game up to 6 times faster on a real Nintendo 64 than the vanilla Mario 64 code does.
and like
I looked
he
at every single variable, understood
would-
every function, and then
Yeah.
optimized everything listed in this.
This dude's actually just been fucking doing this.
For a grand total of
That is so crazy.
and so while doing this, he's
version
been
of
making his
CCC
own
is
sequel.
not very optimized for
This is his sequel.
1996.
This is gameplay of his
Not a
sequel.
big surprise.
Um,
How slow
But he's also been like making the models essentially more HD,
Right.
while also just running on an N64. Like he's optimizing the
That's crazy.
fuck out of it.
Right.
And it makes me think about. Hey Josh.
Yeah, we had a mishap with that
Yeah,
one.
we had a bad mishap.
It was pretty bad. That's why we're so late.
Here's
Yeah, this one hurts. Yeah, this
Here's
hurts my soul so
yeah.
bad.
So Yanni gets to go home and figure that one out.
Yeah, that's my project. all day tomorrow.
It's for a good cause, and hopefully the good cause will be revealed sometime
And
next
we can
week.
save the filament.
Um,
We got 2 good wines after that, after we realized that was hopeless.
yeah, very hopeless. At least tonight it was hopeless. So yeah. Anyways, Mario 64 getting super duper optimized. I'm very.
Yeah, that's sick.
It makes me wonder if they could do the same to
Literally everything else.
yeah every other N64 game, because there's 2 consoles that never had their power properly utilized. One being the N64,
Yep.
and one being the PS3.
Okay.
The PS3, hardware-wise, was leagues ahead of Xbox and PC. That's
So the
why,
PS2 is also pretty sick.
but that's why there was those reports of the
Dreamcast.
Of
Not the Dreamcast.
I don't think it's in the same boat. Like I'm talking about technology wise. I'm not just talking about like pure hardware. Because essentially the PS3 was used in an Air Force, I guess as servers. They just
Right.
linked them together as servers. Because their raw compute power was wild.
Right.
Because Sony had a custom chip that had like 3 or 4 levels of CPU usage, and
Right.
most games only use the first level. The only games to actually end up using the 4th level, I'm being hypothetical here. I'm not actually, these aren't specifics.
Right.
Whatever that 4th level of CPU was, like The Last of Us. And The Last of Us, when it came out, looked like a completely, like it did not belong on the PS3.
Right.
Like it looked like a brand new, like holy shit kind of game.
Yeah.
And that's why it was used in data centers for the Air Force, because it would do anything fast.
Right.
And it was cheap. And same with the N64. The N64 never had all of its potential fully tapped.
Right.
And we're seeing that clearly with this guy doing this optimization. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I'll hand it back
For
to you.
sure.
My rant is over.
Going on to our next area here. Tariffs. I think we're going to be talking about tariffs every week.
I'm so fucking tired of it, dude.
Um,
Can we just go back to non-tariffs?
what the 30% US-China deal means for tech prices. In a significant move, the US and China have agreed to temporarily reduce tariffs on each other's goods. For US consumers, this means a drop from a staggering 145% down to 30% on Chinese imports. A change that's already rippling through the tech industry. We've seen stocks go up globally.
Yeah, dude.
I
should have fucking bought some.
After this
Damn
has been
it.
announced. And
I haven't told myself how to pay attention.
we currently have a temporary relief. 30% tariff rate is set for a 90-day period, providing a window of relief for importers and consumers alike. The rollback follows intense negotiations aimed at easing trade tensions. And then we have impact on tech prices. It seems like it's still going to be affecting tech prices.
Yeah.
Things are pretty firm now. I think everybody knows we're not going to go back to the original 10%.
Tariff.
So Sony, for instance, is considering raising prices on products like the PS5
Sadly.
and their accessories, and I think still a couple more of their games, to offset increased costs due to tariffs. The company is also exploring shifting some manufacturing to the U.S. to mitigate these impacts.
Nice.
Although I think even if they do, they're going to keep the prices the same. It's not going to be to decrease prices. I think it's just to help keep them stable.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've seen that I don't have listed down here is how some manufacturers are pushing the cost off to the rest of the world.
Hey, yeah. Ironically, Sony was the one who did that first.
And yeah, they're trying to spread the cost to help bear the extra weight there. And who knows, maybe it's even put more money in their pockets at the end of the day. On to the next cool thing. Philips. I have a Philips Norelco that I barely ever use. It's just a trimmer, it's an electric trimmer for your face.
Your face.
Philips, they've used 3D printable components to repair products.
Oh, nice.
They're stepping into the right to repair arena with a fresh initiative called Philips Fixables. This program allows users to 3D print official replacement parts for select Philips products.
All right.
This was super cool because you'll see who they paired up with. They're official 3D printable parts. They're providing for free officially designed 3D printable files for certain product components. These files are available globally to the printables.com platform,
Nice,
making it easier for
dude.
consumers to repair rather than replace their devices. They have collaborations and expansion currently launched in the Czech Republic. Philips is collaborating with Prusa Research and LaPub to support this program. While only one component is available now, Philips plans to extend the library to include parts for other devices like electric toothbrushes and hair dryers. And then user requests. This is pretty cool. Philips has opened a channel for consumers to request specific parts to be made available for 3D printing. There's no guaranteed timeline or when these requested parts will be released, but that is something that's super awesome. Also, considering, say, you lose or break a piece, but even better if you just get the base model.
Yeah.
If you get a base
You get to
model,
upgrade.
if you get something used and you just swap the blade out on it.
I need them to release. I need someone to release files to make a larger or a longer guard for my beard
100%.
because I hate it when I go to trim. Like I want it to be just shorter, but then it just basically takes it to my
It's
skin.
absolutely, lopping it off.
And like that's fine. Like I should just do a reset, but like it's so jarring.
Or we can get, like, I've been considering getting, like, a larger trimmer. Like an actual,
Yeah.
like, large scale
But
trimmer.
I want to use what I already have.
Right.
Hey,
Kind of the only thing that I can do is just kind of, like, shape it.
yeah.
And just keep shaping
And I
it
cannot
just hope that it
freehand
does.
this shit.
Yeah.
Because I did that once before our vacation last year, and I had that piece right here, and I was like,
I've been freehanding it the best I can. And it does okay, I think.
I'm
Pop off a little bit more of the neck.
I'm overdue for a haircut anyways, so it might be time to go to Naked Mole Rat Mark.
Right. I got one more topic here.
Speaking of naked mole rats,
Rossman.
God
Not Rossman.
damn it! I didn't even mean that to happen. It's just kind of perfect.
Louis Rossman versus Better Way Electronics. It's a showdown. About a year ago, Louis Rossman spotlighted Better Way Electronics for revoking access to their PS4, PS5 software without refunds. So I guess I could explain this in a way. BWE, which is Better Way Electronics, is an individual out of Australia that has an excellent piece of software for troubleshooting PS4 and PS5s. I guess there's a chip, I believe it's an NOA chip,
No.
that is able to output error codes. Like for the PS4, they had, I think, the blue light of death.
Mm-hmm.
That chip can export error codes, and he's definitely
Yeah.
always fighting on something. Yeah, that's his entire thing, is to just keep on fighting. Especially being a right to repair advocate, he's there to fight for right to repair.
Yep.
Which kind of pushes into what's going on with this guy. This guy's name's Louis Taharaj or something like that. For Better Way Electronics. He makes a software which is excellent. Is to read error codes and to put out the error codes in plain English. However, his software is
Proprietary.
not really proprietary. It's essentially like spyware.
Oh, that's right.
You download it, and it's constantly scanning and checking all of your applications at all times.
Yeah.
And he does this as a means to avoid any sort of reverse engineering tools.
Holy shit.
But at the same time, he can also see if you're using competitors' products, right? He can see anything you're running.
God damn.
I don't think he can necessarily see what's running on your screen, but in terms of the data that he's able to pull, he can definitely tell what's running on your computer and what's installed.
Holy shit.
So a year ago, he was revoking access without really much of any reason and also not providing refunds. And so Rossman made a video about this about a year ago, telling him to, and it was April of 24, telling him to push refunds back, that he's being an asshole.
Right.
He never responded to that, and it's now a year later. And this company, Uber Micro Repairs, I don't know if he reached out to Rossman or if Rossman just caught wind of it, but it just recently escalated when Betterway had revoked access to Uber Micro Repairs license. Here is where my blood starts to boil a bit, and this is where Rossman absolutely gets frying on this topic. There's a public WhatsApp number on his website that's no longer up. And that WhatsApp number is for support. So,
which is strange, I feel.
Uber Micro ends up taking they take a picture of their work laptop, and they can see the access is revoked. And so he takes a picture of it, submits it, and this is through WhatsApp, and he just asks, he goes, any reason? They get a generic response here saying hello, and it gives all the information, and then at the bottom goes, hi, who are you, what business do you represent? And going next, says Uber Micro Repairs. He goes, okay. And Uber Micro asks, any reason for the license to be revoked? All he does is submit the terms and conditions. And Uber Micro responds with, please point out the one I've allegedly broken.
Yeah.
Turn this towards you. Louis, the owner of Betterway, says, please read it before asking me to read it for you.
Holy crap.
Though given you've accepted it, you've surely read it. We have Uber responding with, I'm not a mind reader. Please enlighten me on the terms you think I have broken. As far as I'm aware, I did nothing wrong. The software was last used on, it was February 15th of this year. And since that day, the laptop was on my shelf with a dead battery. So again, please let me know what I did wrong. He just responds with, then no loss, question mark. He goes, sorry, what do you mean? He responds back with, is there any particular reason you're trying it today? I mean, what do you think? To fix
a
fucking PlayStation?
Yeah.
He says, here we go. He responds with, my original question still stands. Why have you revoked the license? Reading the terms does not give me any indication why you chose to revoke it. And then he responds directly to, is there any particular reason you're trying it today? He goes, you know exactly why, but let's stay on topic here, please. You banned me from your Discord, and the only interaction I had in there was me giving you a thumbs up to your comment when you at me. Please give me a reason for revoking the license. He goes, I believe you already know. Responds with, I need you to tell me. And then Louis responds with, and I suppose your actions here are kind of telling me the character you possess. You don't need anything.
What?
I think it's best to use some other software. Perhaps the coder's tool may suit you.
Oh my god, there's more?
This is somebody that bought software from this guy, spent hundreds of dollars. I don't even know if it leads into the thousands. But this is how he's treating customers. And this is how he was treating them a year ago. And this is how he's treating them now. So
great.
Uber responds with, oh, I get it now. Phil shouted me out on his video, which he did off his own back, I might add. I see now. And he responds with, I don't watch his videos. I don't see how that would warrant anything. And he said, he replied with, so I'm taking this decision of yours as theft. He goes, you take it however you please, pursuant to my terms which you agreed to your band. And he says, bye. Then he says, your service is terminated permanently. Bye. You've also broken another term just now, so feel free to base whatever reason on that then. Keep it simple. Response with, people need to know that you're avoiding a simple question. And he goes, all private communications between Betterway Electronics and its customers strictly confidential, unauthorized disclosure, including sharing via email or messaging platforms such as WhatsApp, will result in the immediate termination of all services. He says, that is the only term I've broken, and that is after you have revoked the license. He goes, it's not the only one, but it's the latest one.
Jesus.
And he goes, well, tell me the other one then. And it just keeps going from there. It's just back and forth asking the simple question. Said, you're avoiding the original question. He goes, sorry, I value my privacy. Perhaps you should have been cognizant of the terms. Well,
Okay.
that's Louis. And there was one more here that also happened. Somebody was getting an error code, error 12, on the software. And he asked about it. Said, I closed everything out on the computer, turned off Windows Defender, and it still won't work. Nothing else is running. I don't own another code reader software. Please help. Louis ends up responding with, why do you think you need a reference to 12 when there's also no reference to 1 or 2 or 3, etc.? Isn't it obvious it's for any of these?
What?
Anyways, please send photo ID that matches your purchase.
What?
He
What does that have
submits-
to do? Okay.
Yeah, right? Because he looks at the error, it produces error 12, and ironically his software is to read error codes and output them to plain English,
Right.
and all his software is also outputs error 12, which is not in his list of errors. But that puts us at...
Hey, you're telling me, Joe.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh,
there
he
it
lost
is.
the picture.
We got it. He sends him the order number, whole invoice, complete picture of it. He goes, so when you're driving and the cop pulls you over, you show him this?
What?
That's what Louis responds with. He asks for a photo ID that matches the purchase, and he just sends him the entire order that he has on his screen,
Yeah.
active, date, time, everything. And he just responds with, so when you're driving and a cop pulls you over, you show him this. Well, he responds with, and this is a completely different business, by the way. This is just another business that's also having issues with him. It's a business credit card in my father-in-law's name. I'm not asking him for a copy of his ID. And then Louis responds with, so you don't exist and he doesn't exist.
What the fuck?
And then sends him terms and conditions. And he looks at the terms and conditions and responds with, look, I have no idea how to reverse engineer software. I just fixed motherboards. The code reader's working fine until I updated it. Nothing changed on my computer. I just want to use the software to fix stuff.
Nice.
And that's pretty much where I stopped pulling those responses, because it's pretty stupid and aggravating from there.
Yeah.
It is insanely toxic. Rossman has reported on all of that, and he then, Betterway then sees the video and puts a privacy claim against it.
Oh my god.
This fuels Rossman's rage.
Like it does. Always does.
Rossman goes ripping into this guy's personal life and his personal information and gets everything that is totally public and available and legal to disclose, because it is publicly available on all the Australian government websites that have that information publicly. To trim it down, Rossman looks into his website, sees that it's owned under somebody named something Marie, looks up that Marie person, the entire name, because that's who the website's registered under, finds that Marie person, finds another business that she's also listed under, clicks on that, finds affiliates, not affiliates, but like partners in that business, finds another partner, and then finds a Louis Taharaj related to them. Or so it seems in relation. It ended up seeing more like a name change. And then he clicked on his name and looked at the old name and found that he owned another business. Or that it may have been the existing one that they found. But back in 2014, it went down, and it came back in 2018. So he started looking into why that happened. And when he looked up the name Louis Taraj for Australia, he found tons of links and articles and websites referring to a court case and jail time. He used to hack through, it was some vampire game or website. He used to hack girls' computers, underage,
Jesus.
and hack into them and make them do things you obviously shouldn't over webcam with underage individuals.
Right.
So he got busted for that. He had over like 180 images of whatever, and he got absolutely
Joe.
yeah, right. He
This is
had
terrible.
absolutely gotten wrecked. I think it was set for like 12 years, but somehow got it knocked down to 4, and that was the gap in his timeline there with that
Should be
business.
thrown in jail forever.
And that also shows like the all the young, I guess it might refer to like all the young animated chicks all over his website that he had
Oh my god.
in the terms of his mindset. And his little about me page was like, I was previously a hacker and now I'm trying to be a developer, and going into that stuff. Well, now you try to go to Better Way Electronics
No.
and
On my network?
well, when you pull it up, it just takes you to a white page. It says, I've closed the business pending a police investigation into recent attacks on my servers and services. All apps remain functional.
Okay.
So his website's totally closed off, and we believe his website's entirely closed off. His Twitter, by the way, that's sitting right there.
Yeah.
If you click on it, it's just
dead.
entirely gone. Yeah,
Nice.
account doesn't exist. He just straight up deleted it.
Good. Get the fuck off the internet, you piece of
So,
shit.
yeah, this guy, and you could also see his latest update kind of just pending there in history.
That is getting DDoSed.
Yeah, update, my websites were recently DDoSed,
Yeah,
and one of my
fuck
servers
this
hacked
guy.
today. No customer information was accessed, and so on and so forth. This guy's getting wrecked.
You do shit to kids, you're automatically
Rossman
Like
has
fucking burning
another
in hell.
video of this guy responding, and he also like ends up flagging that one too. Rossman absolutely destroyed this guy. He's completely done with the software. He's done with everything. You can check out the latest Rossman video. I'm not going to reference anything from that one because that's kind of like closing everything off, and I don't know if there's going to be much else from there. But it has been very interesting to kind of see what's going on, and it's infuriating to read these back and forth messages between the two.
absolutely. If I was more awake and not tired, I probably would have started yelling.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I guess we'll start wrapping this up because he's exhausted, and I feel bad because I'm kind of holding him here.
You're not holding me.
So
We just took a while doing what we were doing.
we had something that did not go to plan.
No. And you'll find
But,
out about it probably sometime next week, as long as I have time.
Yeah.
Oh God, I have time. I hope I have time. This is the crazy time of year for me.
Yeah.
So we're picking just a wonderful time to do all. That's okay. I don't have this past week. Projects have been a dream.
Yeah.
So
Not many projects going on.
I have nothing going on. This
I'm still printing off my other bentos. Tomorrow is going to be working on this filament spool.
week. Yes.
And tomorrow's going to be working on this filament spool like all day. And trying to figure that out because I think it's still probably going to be raining tomorrow.
Actually,
Don't think so.
let's see.
But I see one of my projects from last year was do AMS saver, less stress on the spool because that was messed up. But I made the filament winder and it works great. But if a spool explodes and you can't compress it back down,
maybe.
it's a freaking nightmare.
Yes.
It's actually a total
It's
freaking
not
nightmare.
that bad. Actually, yeah, it's not gonna be terrible.
I'm
For
terrified to work on this tomorrow because I feel like it's going to consume my entire day.
It'll be
But
alright.
if it works, we save an entire spool of Pet G.
That is
And
true.
I think that's the most important thing.
I mean, Peggy's not expensive.
It's not that expensive, but it's an entire spool, and we're getting it respooled.
And all for a shot.
There's no freaking option. Yeah, like we're gonna get this respooled.
Yes, he did. I did see that. I have to make
Yeah.
a little
Oh,
connectors.
I guess I didn't mention specifically the issue with the boards he printed.
Oh no.
Do you know what
You
grid
print the wrong
size?
ones.
You know what grid size your boards are?
Mine are 8x8.
Yeah. You know what grid size his is?
Fucking 9x9.
Yep. It's 9x9.
I had a feeling.
9x9. I didn't even know that was an option.
Don't even know how we'll make the. I was about to print 9x9 too,
Yeah.
and I'm glad I realized. I'm like, this barely fits my build plate. It usually fits really easily.
Right.
Yeah, it's 8x8.
It's a good thing I didn't print because I think I was also about to print the 9x9.
We'll have to figure something out. I'm sure we can make
There's only
it work.
3. He only made 3 panels.
Okay.
So it's not end of the world. We can probably put it off in a corner or something.
Yeah, I'll have to see it tomorrow
Yeah.
when I get in.
So we'll work with it. It's
So-
not a total loss or anything.
Ooh. No, we'll
For
definitely
sure.
make it work. So, all right. I guess that's it.
That's it.
It's time for bed.
He needs to crash. I need to
Yes.
try not to crash on the way home.
I have to be up at 6 tomorrow because
Yep.
we have device collection.
You'll be running on my amount of sleep that I
Yes.
normally get.
And then I'm going to need an energy drink before I go to job number 2.
For sure. And then another one.
Craig!
We got Craig.
Yes, I need another one while I'm at job number 2.
Yeah, Craig. Is that waving or is that peace?
No, that's
That's
the oh my god, I'm too brain dead for this. It's Star Trek. I don't remember specifics. Oh my god. Wow, I'm tired.
he's cooked.
I remember as a kid, you'd always go and be like, "Can you do this?
This hurt. Yeah, this still hurts.
Live long and prosper." Yes, but who the fuck did it, Joe?
That's
That's the thing I'm trying to remember right now. Who
Who
the
did
fuck
it?
did it, and what is the race of person who did it? Because I can't think of that right now. Oh, Spock. Oh, Jesus Christ, yes.
Fuck. My dude.
Oh,
My dude.
fuck. All right. Vulcan. Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You can rest easy
You're
tonight.
you're saying my dude, but like, I'm cooked. I was cooked since this morning. So the fact that we're even doing this right now is a miracle. So let me look over this way so I can stop the stream. But thank you all for coming. So I'm only a Trekkie. I'm not even a Trekkie. I am. I only know of these things through my father. So like I should have known that, but like I said, my brain is melted currently. So, anyways, have a good one, friends. And I
Everybody
will
have a
see
good
you
night.
guys on the next one.